guys, you know what we're gonna do today? Today we're gonna kick the day off with what changed after the most recent tuning on PTR. And we'll do that by, well, we obviously played yesterday, of course, but we can do it by analyzing some logs from across the day since the tuning happened and looking at what changed. Log review. Not less of a log review, more of a meta analysis, like what actually changed, if the meta shifted. I mean, it's a new season soon. People want to know if their class got bricked. Gonna get some more coffee before that, actually, anyways. Before we kick it off. I mean, everyone knows Arcane Mage is getting mega nerfed though. Or buff Warlock, nerf Warlock. We need to nerf Warlock, or what? Let's put the date filter here as well. When was the patch exactly? 3 days ago? I mean, let's just do the date filter to 1st of August, 3 days ago. We got our date filter going. Yeah, I heard that Arcane Mage also is bugged to do more damage or something of the sorts. But I don't know to what capacity. Alright. Like we need to stop the tuning now. Yeah, well, I mean, maybe Blizzard will. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Let's kick it off with taking a look at what shifted from the patch notes. Now that it's been a couple of days, 3 days from when the patch notes dropped. Blood Decay got some nerfs. Blood Decay is still the strongest tank by far, I would say. I feel like this nerf was like hardly relevant, in my opinion. I can't really see that they won't get another nerf. They'll probably get nerfed again. But yeah, I mean, that's what I thought when I read this as well. I read this and I immediately thought this is not enough. Blood Decay is way too strong, so just drop it like this. And I mean, that is what happened as well. But maybe Blizzard wants Blood Decay to be strong one season. I don't know. They haven't really been M+ meta in I don't know how long. Forever, I feel like. So maybe Blizzard wants them to be strong also. Unholy got a little bit stronger. It got more single targets. And they didn't really lose any AoE, I feel like. Because of the tier setting as well. I do feel like Unholy became a little bit better. Better prio, better single target. So I think Unholy a little bit buff. Performing a little bit better. I wouldn't say it's like the best spec still. Still pretty mediocre single target damage and prio damage. But I would say that it became a little bit better before. Obviously Devourer, I mean, nothing to say here, it just got worse. I'd say it's still acceptable to play. But I don't think this is like very strong right now. But I rated the Devourer as like a very strong class. Like last time I did like a tier list, and I don't think it's still in the very strong tier. I don't think this is like this is a pretty big nerf. Eradicate was their top damage spell by far, and a 15% nerf to its AoE is pretty big. And they're also nerfing Annihilator, so 2 nerfs. I don't know. We can take some look at some logs and see if there's any like people actually performing on this spec right now, but I don't think this spec is doing very well right now in terms of just overall damage. So we can look at the highest performing Altar of Fangs. I mean, it's pretty hard to compare, but as you can see, this guy is currently losing overall data to an Outlaw Rogue. So yeah, I mean, he's not playing Annihilator. But yeah, I mean, he's currently doing less DPS than an Outlaw Rogue, so by a lot, by the way. This is like crazy diff. Jay-Z. I mean, this is literally this guy playing Void Guard, and he's getting mugged by an Outlaw Rogue. Yeah, that really goes to show. That really goes to show. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think it's healthy for the class in general that the Eradicate isn't as strong, but I feel like they should have given it some compensation buffs. I feel like a single target should be decent though. Riding Coil. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Outlaw just seems incredibly busted on this boss as well. I guess Outlaw is just like, oh, this was with Lust as well. Char End, bro. This guy is popping off. Char End. Who's getting PI in this log? He was Keep in mind, guys, he is also getting 11 PIs across the dungeon. And he is still getting 20% damage gap by an Outlaw Rogue. Yeah. Yeah, Devourer not so great anymore, I'd say. Unfortunately. It's still playable, I think, but not very strong. Not very strong. I think Havoc is in a very similar state to Devourer, actually. I think it's also playable. But the main problem with Havoc versus Devourer is that you're melee. But I think Devourer and Havoc is kind of in the same tier right now. But Havoc obviously has the niche of playing Eldrazi Reaver for funnel purposes. But I think that's the only niche this class has right now. Eldrazi Reaver, like, for funnel. Because, I mean, obviously you don't do AoE on Eldrazi Reaver, and Felsguard, you do really good AoE, but your single target is a little bit worse. Thanks for the sub, Andromedus. So I do think Havoc became a little bit better and Annihilator a little bit worse, which means they kind of end up similar in terms of damage, in my opinion. Moonkin is still decent. I don't think like much changed. I think balance is... I mean, of course, they got a little bit worse, but I think Moonkin is still strong. This was not like a big nerf or anything.
Thank you for the sub, Uvu.
Balance Druid is still strong. Marco the Wild is still a really strong raid buff. Balance still strong. I think Garden Druid is still bad. This didn't really make Garden any better. Garden is still not good. Devastation is still really bad. Nothing changed. Beastmaster is still not good in M+. MM Hunter took a really big hit from this nerf, though. I think MM Hunter went from the best spec by far to one of the worst performing specs. This spec really got shot, I feel like. I think you're underestimating Garden Druid. I mean, I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, if you really need Mark of the Wild and you can't get it anywhere else and it actually does decent enough damage, keep in mind, tanks are not only like based on how much they can live in high case, like you need to do damage as well. And if you don't do enough damage, like you're just not going to beat the timers eventually, right? So you need to also do damage. But yeah, MM Hunter got really shot with his latest tuning. It went from the best class by far to not very strong. I'd say this is the class that got shit on the most by Blizzard. Unfortunately for MM Hunters, you are no longer good. Unfortunate. And Arcane Mage, I mean, currently you can see Arcane Mage and logs do like insane amounts of damage, right? But there's apparently some bug that makes them do 10-15% more damage or something. I'm not sure about the intricacies of the bug, but that is the word on the streets, that they are doing more damage than they should be doing. So I can't really say like how much they would be doing without this bug or whatever. Yeah, I'm assuming it's a missile thing, because I don't think missile is supposed to do 35% of your overall damage. Seems a bit bonkers. Yeah. But Mage, I think if you just cut 10% of Mage, you still have Arcane Intellect, you still have a good damage profile, you still have really good single targets. I mean, I think Mage is good even without its fix, probably. Obviously, it's not going to be as broken as it seems in these logs. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly how much the bugs amounts to. Not exactly sure. But I'm pretty sure it's still going to be a really good spec. Fire Mage, I can't really say. I mean, yeah, they were okay before. They got a 6% buff. They're a little bit more okay now, I guess, you know? There's not really anyone playing Fire Mage since Arcane Mage is so broken currently, so really hard to find anyone playing Fire. Same with Frost. There's just no one playing these specs. It's really hard to tell how strong they are. But I'm assuming they're both still okay specs, you know? I don't know. Everyone playing OP Arcane, so. Holy Paladin. Holy Paladin should be really strong in M+ now after this change. They were already like contending for being the strongest healing spec in M+, and now they've received another 5%, so I feel like that kind of like solidifies the best M+ healer currently, probably. Holy Priest still unplayable in M+. Shadow Priest kind of got bricked, I feel like. Shadow Priest was doing okay, but now they're just doing worse. I don't know. Unlucky for Shadow Priest, I guess. They weren't like popping off or anything, and they just got nerfed. And obviously these are like really big changes for Rogue. Like Assassination Rogue is actually doing okay. I mean, it's doing decent. Doing really good in like dungeon with AoE, like a lot of AoE. Because what the class really does good at is like just these really big pulls and like shading mobs and stuff. Because you have like the drawback of your single target being pretty bad on Assassination Rogue, unless like everything lines up perfectly for some reason. But I think Assa Rogue went from one of the like very like low mid specs to actually being pretty good. I don't think it's like the top meta spec or anything, but I think it has potential. I think it's acceptably good, pretty strong. You can make it work, I think, in a decent comp for it. Same thing with Outlaw. I think Outlaw and the Assassination both are like, I mean, they're probably the best two rogue specs right now. I think Outlaw probably better than Assa because you do like, I think Outlaw has more has a better niche in like five like the I don't know. I feel like Outlaw is probably a little bit better than Assassination on most things, except like uncapped AoE, which Assa does really well. They're good at different stuff. Sub-Rogue AoE is decent. Like you can play Sub-Rogue. I think it's an okay spec now. Actually, it's no longer like unplayable. I think Sub-Rogue is okay. Your main problem is single target. You just don't have a lot of ST on Sub-Rogue, but you actually do really good AoE. I feel like, but you just don't have any single target at all. I feel like, from my own personal experience playing it. Elemental Shaman still strong. Sky Fury is a really strong buff, especially if you're playing a physical comp. Not much changed. You got a little bit of nerf on the Ankis, like these guys here, the ancestors. Like if you just look at it, I think it's. I mean, let's remove 20% from the Anks here. I mean, we can add 10%. I mean, it's not a big nerf, right? I think Anks are doing 20% of your damage, so it's probably about a 4% nerf. Still strong spec. Most other specs got nerfed as well, so which makes this, not too relevant. I think Affliction, Warlock, Demo Warlock, and Destruction Warlock all are still just mid specs. I don't think this changed anything for M+. I don't know. I think you don't really want to play Warlock still, unfortunately. Yeah. Unlike for Warlocks, I don't think this really changed much for them at all. For M+, that is, for M+. Nothing changed. Arms Warrior nerf was obviously like a bit of a hit on single target and cleave, but not too significant. I think Arms is still strong, for sure. Arms still strong. Like on AoE, this was like barely a nerf at all. As well. 1% ST nerf. Must be similar AoE nerf as well, or? Affliction is probably one of the highest AoE damage I can with Baby Brain. Highest AoE. It is an AoE buff actually, really? Does this slam buff like actually make it a buff? Lol. That's it then. Yeah, pretty relevant change here. Didn't change much. Does the slam actually buff the tier set slam as well? Probably. Or does it? Like the AoE slam? Or just I don't know, like the intricacies of this. Oh, it does? Yeah, okay, that makes sense why it's an AoE buff then. That makes sense. Well, that's it. That's it then. That's it for that tuning class change. For the classes that got changed.